Latex-free boots and latex-free shoes. I'm going to link you to my extensive article about latex and shoes. If you think you don't have a latex allergy, think again, because, and I will link below to my cited article about how natural rubber latex is in fact a sensitizing toxicant. I know that most people say otherwise, but when you have an industry that has their hands in pretty much every other industry, you're going to have some power with that. Which means there's a lot of propaganda and misinformation out there on natural rubber latex. Now, if you've had a latex allergy test, whatever kind of allergy test you've had for it, RAS, ELISA, whatever, well, here's the problem with that. How do you test for something that you haven't identified or isolated? Well, you can't. The RAS test, as far as the last time I knew, only test for a handful of natural rubber latex proteins. There have been hundreds of proteins identified thus far, and there are so many natural rubber latex proteins that they haven't all been identified yet. So if you haven't identified it, how can you test for it? That's a problem. Now, if you have itchy feet, if you have peeling or redness on your soles, that is actually an early indicator, or sometimes a moderate indicator of a latex allergy, that your shoes are causing you problems. So I want to share with you the shoes that Dave and I wear here. Dave's my honey. He also became sensitized to natural rubber latex. You can improve your life by delatexing your life and reducing your exposure, and then once your allergy bucket overall is much lower, then you can generally tolerate, you know, a tool here and there and that sort of thing. So there are some tools that probably have latex in them that I actually touch now and then because the latex sensitivity level has decreased a lot along with my allergy bucket. But there's no cure. I got to be clear about that, but you can, you know, improve your health and improve your sensitivity, generally speaking. It also depends on your home, your living situation as well. If you've got cigarette smoke, which got latex in it, coming into your home, into your apartment, I've been there, know that I have. We moved more times than I can count due to cigarette smoke. So, onto the actual shoes. Now, if you can't handle dirt, this probably isn't the video for you. We live in a woods, there's mud. I'm out crawling around in the garden sometimes. I'm crawling around in animal coops and whatnot. So if you can't handle some dirt, well, this just shows that we do indeed use these shoes. So for years, Crocs were the only shoes that I wore. Partly because, actually, yeah, I mean, a good portion of the reason was because we couldn't afford more expensive shoes. So I was also chemically sensitive. Just the basic Crocs shoes, Dave and I both have, okay? So what you want is Crocs shoes that are fully molded cross-light. These are fully molded cross-light. Now, before I knew any better, I did buy a pair of Crocs sandals that were super cute, but they were not good. So they had, they were like the thong sort of Crocs sandals, and the inner portion had a different color of Crocs, which means it wasn't fully molded cross-light. That glue that they use to attach those two different colors is usually latex based per Crocs. So be sure that if you're buying Crocs shoes that you're getting fully molded cross-light. And I know that they have some Crocs shoes that are insulated, like for winter, for cozy, you know, little warm shoes. I suspect that the glue used for that also is the same glue, but I have not confirmed that personally. So you can contact Crocs and ask them. All right, and I'll also link to my article that's basically an introduction to latex allergy that dispels a lot of myths that are out there about it. So regular Crocs, I've had multiple different types of fully molded Crocs shoes. One example here are my, see here? These are my Jaunts. These originally came, I think, if I remember correctly, with a band around, which that band probably was not the good kind of glue, but it is what it is. These Crocs, or these Jaunts, I have had since 2016, spring of 2016. Last year, I had to replace them because a lot of the bottom was coming off, and you can see that the wear is just really bad. But they're rain boots. I wear them in winter as well. Obviously, they're great. There are also shorty Jaunts, but the Jaunts line was discontinued a while ago. Sometimes you can find them on eBay or Poshmark. I will link to those below, and Amazon, to see if there happens to be any available these days or not. However, the good news is that Crocs has a more recent line of boots out. Their classic boot. It's a rain boot, and it's basically their regular Crocs, except there aren't holes in it, and it's a short rain boot. So those are more readily available now, and you can get them eBay, Amazon, etc. I haven't tried those though, because I have my regular, most people would have already thrown these out, but I like being able to, these help protect in case happens to be a snake I come upon, if I am walking the perimeter of our property and inspecting it, as I do every few months or so. But I do have the short Jaunts as well. If you're not chemically sensitive, a lot of times you can find Jaunts on Poshmark or eBay that are used and still in really good shape. There's Crocs. Vionic. Vionic is expensive. Their shoes are expensive, and that's why we didn't try them for so many years, because they are expensive. So I wore Crocs for years. Vionics. The first, again, they're dirty, okay? We've got chickens, you know, we used to have rabbits, got a garden, right? Think of it like a farm. Think of it like living on a farm. You're not going to have clean boots and clean shoes living on a farm. This is the classic, this is the Vionics Classic Walker. Isn't this a pretty collar? I really love this collar, but the collars come and go as far as Vionics go. All of the Vionics shoes, as far as I know, and this is not medical information or advice, consult your doctor, do your own research. These statements have not been approved by the FDA. As far as I know, every time I've contacted Vionics, they've been really great about answering my questions in regards to latex. As far as I know, all of their shoes and boots, all of their stuff, as far as their shoes go, is latex safe. The Classic Walker, Dave went through a number of these before we tried some others that I'm going to share with you. The problem with the Classic Walker is you don't want them to get wet. So when they get wet, and this just happens from like walking out to the chicken coop through some grass for me. When they get wet, there's this spot in the back here. There's a piece of metal or something that gradually loosens, and then it just ruins the shoe. You can't deal with it anymore at some point. So if you wear walkers from Vionics, be sure that you keep them dry. But they have a lot of different colors. They offer them for both men and women. So there's that. But just be sure to keep them dry. So with that problem with them getting wet, Dave is a landscaper. So his shoes get wet, which means that they were not lasting very long at all. So we needed to figure out and try something else. These are Jackson combat boots. They're actually for women, but we got them for both of us to try. I don't recommend them. Neither one of us like them. By the way, if you want these, I'm going to be putting them up on eBay. This specific pair got pushed into an area I didn't clean for like a year, accidentally. So they're pretty fuzzy, but they're also muddy. So I need to clean them up. But they do have a zipper on the side, which is kind of cute, kind of handy. But we got them because I believe they're waterproof. Yeah, it says waterproof. We got them because they're waterproof, and we wanted something more substantial. However, they're kind of heavy and bulky. Dave and I both found them, we basically wear the same size shoe. So we both found them uncomfortable. Initially, when you put them on, they hurt, and then a minute or two later they stop hurting, but they still just aren't that comfortable. I just don't really like them, and he didn't like them either. But they're there. I think we paid $190. They've come down in price. The last I looked, I think they were $130 or something like that. That was money not well spent for us. However, they do have other options when it comes to being waterproof, getting waterproof shoes from Vionic. These, and I will be linking to all of them below. They will be affiliate links. We do have expenses associated with sharing all of this information. If you want to support this work, we've got some books up. The more support we get, the more writing can be done, and the sooner we can get a book published on avoiding natural rubber latex allergy, and that sort of thing. It's going to be a big book, or I mean big comparatively to the other books that have been published, because there's just so much information to share. It's mostly written. It's just got a lot of writing and got a lot of typing and editing to do. Excuse me. So what we're wearing now when it's wet is the Zanny shoe here. Again, these are pretty muddy. I just wore them this morning, so they're still wet. I don't remember if they're, I think they have male and female sizes, but I'm not 100% certain. I personally find the Vionic shoes to be pretty true to size, as far as any other brand goes. The same with Crocs. That's just my personal opinion. Your mileage may vary as far as that goes. So the Zanny here is indeed waterproof, or at least water resistant. I wear it out in the rain. Dave wears his all of the time now. He doesn't wear the walkers anymore. He just wears the Zannies now. But it's been less than a year since we switched to these. My concern with them was that since they're waterproof, that in the summer months when it was hot, that your feet would be very sweaty. My concern was valid. So I wore these. It was wet one morning and I was out working in the garden all day, but it dried off during the day and got hot. But I still had these shoes on, and at the end of the day, I had taken the shoes off and I was inside, and I had squatted down, and I went, "What does that smell?" Yeah, my feet stunk. Perhaps a little TMI there, but that is that is relevant information for you in selecting a pair of shoes. So if you're getting waterproof Vionic shoes, know that the waterproof aspect goes both ways. They're not vapor permeable if your feet are sweating. Lastly, winter boots. Some people I know have declared, I believe it's Kamuk, I don't know how to say it, are latex safe. When I have reached out to them, they haven't responded, so I don't know about that. I just wanted to put that out there in case you want to research winter boots. Typically, it just varies as to how much snow we get as to what I wear. If the snow is gonna go, if we get more than a few inches of snow, then I will wear my winter boots here. I bought these in 2016 for an obnoxious price off of Etsy. These are wool boots. The problem, there are actually a couple of problems with these. They are very warm, by the way. I did get the correct size, and I ordered them. I think they came from Hungary or something like that. They are handmade, artisan crafted, whatnot. If you are, and I can't link to them, but I will link to Etsy if you want to look on there. I can't link to these though, because that person isn't selling them anymore. The problem with handmade wool boots is that so there's actually two problems. One is the sole can be rubber. This is or it can be natural rubber. This is not a natural rubber sole. I got that information from the vendor. And then also you have to have glue to attach here, and the glue can contain natural rubber latex. So those are two things that you have to keep an eye on. You need to know the brand and the actual product that's being used. If you decide that to go that direction, you need to get that information. And if they won't give it to you, then I wouldn't buy it from them. But I was able to get that information for these. So that's a so that's an issue for most of these. The other problem, and the reason why I don't like to wear them, is they don't have much support. I broke my foot a few years ago, and then I broke my other foot years ago, and I have a tendency to sprain my ankles. So it's probably associated with mast cell activation syndrome and all those crazy pants things. But the fact is that I need more support now, and these types of soles that are glued on, they don't offer that support. Also, when I walk, it's kind of weird. It's like it's not wide enough for my foot. I don't have a wide foot, but it's like it's not wide enough for my foot, and I have to be careful when I step so that I don't accidentally go to the side, like sort of step off of the sole, which is kind of weird. But generally in the winter, I'm either wearing, you know, my Crocs or otherwise. It just kind of depends, you know, as far as that goes. So if this has been helpful to you, please give this video a thumbs up. Consider supporting this endeavor. Always feel free to reach out via email. We've got a free newsletter. We've got tons of information up on the website, and lots more coming at you. Until next time, if you have questions, by the way, you can drop a comment, but I'm unable to monitor social media, unfortunately. I'm also got mast cell activation syndrome, EMF sensitive, so I'm very limited in my computer time. So I have to pick and choose what I do, and I choose not to monitor any social media. So if you have a question, be sure to give a thumbs up, drop a comment, a kind comment below to help push this video out, and send an email, nontoxichome@protonmail.com. You can also fill out the contact us form on our website. Thanks so much for being here. Have a most beautiful and blessed day. Non-toxic out.